Welcome to Brothers King Talk, where we view eternity through the lens of art. My name is Samuel.
And I'm Sully.
And we are coming back to the formula this week.
Yeah.
After being derailed slightly.
Yeah, this train derailed a long time ago.
It derailed for a couple weeks.
Yeah, we finally got it back on track.
Solomon is in a better mental state. Slightly better mental state. We
this
do have
nothing to do with my mental state.
We think.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm in a better mental state.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Let's blame it on you.
Sure.
Something has to be your fault.
mean, I can't be the.
I finally got over you having another podcast with someone else. So.
There we go. It was all the other podcasts.
Yeah, it was all over the podcast. So therefore, your fault.
Back to the formula. So, Solomon, what's on the Hot Billboard's Christian 100 chart thingy this
Let's
week?
see. Well, number one, we still have Lauren Daigle for week 50 of 52 weeks on the chart. She has been number one for 50 weeks.
God has been saying.
Yeah, God only knows,
No, God's been saying for 50 weeks. You say.
Oh, yeah.
God Only Knows is number 2 for several weeks now.
Yeah.
A couple months at least.
For King and Country. So we're going to move on down to number 3.
Which I feel like we haven't done a number 1 since the first week.
We haven't. It's been number... Yeah, no, that's
We've been doing like 3s and 4s usually.
Yeah.
So,
Have we seriously we've been doing this for like half a year already?
Something like that. Yeah, this is episode number 8.
Well, I mean, yeah. Anyway,
we've been skipping a lot of weeks.
Right. Number 3, we have Bethel Music with I Raise a Hallelujah.
And so we decided to go ahead and watch the live version on YouTube of them performing this song, and it was a sweet-ish story, if not slightly.
Come on, it was Sunday worship music.
So the story was, someone. First off,
That's not the story behind the song. That was just a story he was telling before he started singing that song specifically. Yeah, that song's been out a lot longer than that story's been.
Oh well, okay, but okay. That does raise an interesting point about the nature of art. Art can grow and take on different meaning than even its original purpose, right?
Right, but I don't. Okay.
So, I appreciate how art can evolve to change even from what it was originally intended for. So, in this case, the connection he made to this was apparently a couple of members of their band, or he called it the Bethel band family.
Yeah, which is their church.
Their church, sure. They had a child in the hospital, and they were all praying for them, and this song was like their battle cry during this time. So, honestly, that story was very emotionally manipulative.
Yeah.
And,
well, see, that's the only way. They somehow knew we were going to be talking about them today, and they're like, we must manipulate their emotions with the
to make them care about the song.
Yes.
And I'm all for, save the sick children, care about your friends and family. So, we're going to do our best, Solomon. Give me 3. All I ask is 3. This is less than the number of good men God asked for from Sodom. 3 good things about this song. I'll go first. I'll give this my best shot.
Yeah.
So, number 1, I didn't realize Bethel was like a real band. Let me clarify. A lot of church worship bands, Bethel, Hillsong, Planet Shakers, they're all just church bands, which mean they're only a band as long as they happen to be leading worship until their church decides to change them out for whatever reason, right? Mm-hmm. And they go on to bigger and better things. So, I didn't realize Bethel, for at least the time being, they are like an actual band. Like, they actually write their songs, and they're a group of musicians that hang out together and call themselves, a band, which is just something you don't see in worship music. It's usually, they have like a few songwriters back at their home church, write all their songs, pick out whoever the best musicians and singers of the lot are, and send them out on the road. Mm-hmm. So I appreciated that. Has nothing to do with the song, but I appreciate that. Number 2, at least in this live video, which was 11 minutes long. Whoo, Nelly.
That includes the testimony.
The testimony.
The what are they called? Inspirational dancers? No, not that. That's not the word.
Interpretive dancers.
Interpretive dancers. Yeah. That one chick having a seizure on there.
I would like to believe she was worshiping, feeling God's spirit.
Okay.
I like to believe the best in people.
Yeah, I just don't know. I mean, all the other ones seemed like they were okay. She looked like she was having some kind of a brain aneurysm.
Not that we are making fun of anyone that has a real brain aneurysm.
No, we're not. I'm not making fun of her either. I was just like, she didn't seem okay, you know?
Yeah.
And, I mean, as a Pentecostal, you know.
Yeah.
It was kind of interesting. I don't know.
Number 2, I could actually hear real instruments. I believed, rather or not they were deceiving me, I was fooled into believing while I was watching this live video that they were playing real instruments and not merely having a computer play all the backing tracks for them, and they were just singing along.
Right.
I was convinced of this. And I appreciate actual real instrument playing. It's like the bass player for Need to Breathe said in an interview, he said 90% of what you hear up there on stage from any band is just a computer playing all the parts for them. They very rarely actually play their own stuff. So, I'm all for, actually playing your own songs.
Right.
And then number 3 on here is running out of things to say here. Number 3 here, let's say this is both a good and a bad thing. So it's going to sound really negative, but I mean it as a good thing. The song makes me think of if they had a robot. You can have programmable bots on the computer that you program to, for instance, read every book of the Bible and then write your own book of the Bible, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it basically learns and then tries to duplicate the work based off of everything it learned. And it sounds like they took a bot and had it listen to every Casting Crowns song and every Digital Age song. And they said, okay, write a song now. And that's what the song made me think of. Of just that kind of combination. And that sounds like a super negative thing, but Casting Crowns I'm mostly okay with, and I do generally like Digital Age.
The production's good.
So kudos to them for at least, even though it's extremely derivative and kind of stale, honestly, at least it sounds like something I personally enjoy. And wow, that was the most negative positive I have ever given in my life. I am sorry, guys. I promise, if Bethel, if you're out there listening, I don't hate you.
Samuel, be sorry for nothing.
I don't hate you guys, it's just...
Bethel, it doesn't matter if we hate you or not. You follow your dreams. Okay. You do what you believe is right, whether you're right or wrong.
These 2 critics that no one listens to probably won't affect your life too much anyways.
Yeah.
Alright, Solomon, give me your 3 positives here.
Lord Jesus. I like that they had more than one guitar on stage.
Okay.
I like that I didn't see any computers on stage. So, if it was anything by computer, thank you for hiding the computer. I wish our church would do that. And number 3.
The lead singer had a nice voice.
The lead singer.
The girl had a nice voice.
Yeah, the chick had a nice voice.
I don't know her name, but she had a nice voice.
Yeah, me either. I don't know any of their names.
It sounded like every other worship leader's voice.
Beth. We'll just call her Beth.
It's a nice voice, Beth. So yeah, there we go. 6 nice things about this song.
Yikes.
Yeah,
we could do better. No, I don't know.
Just wish...
They're just lucky they're not Chris Tomlin.
I don't know. I've heard a few Chris Tomlin songs I like.
Oh, wow.
I've listened to all his... Well, okay.
Yeah.
I listened to all his discography.
How about Raise a White Flag?
I haven't listened to that one. I've listened to like once.
You haven't heard?
I've heard it like once. I listened to all his discography up until like 2010. Okay?
Okay.
2011.
I mean, like, yeah, his old stuff's okay-ish.
Um,
Like, better than today. Like, I just feel like he never, like Stephen Curtis Chapman and Michael W. Smith kind of stuck with what they were doing, you know? Mm-hmm. A little bit. Yeah, they brought in some younger musicians to help him out. Well, actually, Stephen Curtis Chapman, I don't know very much about him, but I'm a Smitty guy.
Yeah.
So he brought in some new guys, and so yeah, their music does sound a little bit modern, but that's just because they're younger. But
as far as the core songs,
as far as like his songs and his lyrics go, like his sound hasn't changed. His lyrics haven't really changed.
Since the early 2000s.
Right. Well, since the early 2000s. I mean, but it took that time for him to figure out his thing, you know? I mean, you know, before the early 2000s, he just tried to be Christian music's resident bad boy, you know? It just didn't...
He did! Oh my goodness.
I don't know. He was like, nobody knew the secret ambition. I don't know. You should watch that music video.
Oh, I have. It's rough.
There were flames and everything going off on stage. I was like, oh my God. I'm pretty sure Dad was like, turn the Satan music off. I was like, Dad, it's Michael W. Smith. He's like, I don't care. There ain't need to be no flames up in there. It's like blowing flamethrowers on stage. That's not godly. You know.
Now I'm just imagining
he's like, turn on some Russ Taff.
Russ Taff has a good voice.
He does have a good voice. I'm not saying he don't.
Like,
shoot, I listen to Imperials all day. My goodness.
What we're saying is, I'm not saying just bring back the old stuff.
Shoot, I wish our church would have flamethrowers on stage.
I'm just imagining some preacher like, the flames of hell are going to get you.
And Sean turns off the lights and the flames just go off. That would scare the mess out of somebody. I could see several old people having a heart attack. A bunch of the young kids jumping in the baptismal. Shoot, the preacher might even get down and repent.
If any churches want to use this idea,
yes, please make a video and tag us to it.
Or better yet, just email us at
brotherskingmedia@gmail.com.
Yeah, we'll come and do it for you.
Yeah, we will come and do it for you. You just buy the supplies and pay for us to get to wherever you are.
We'll do it.
Yep.
Pyrotechnics, it's all us.
Yep. Hence the whole media production part of our business, you know.
Hey, Son, we were talking about Bethel.
Huh.
Maybe they need some flames on stage to brighten their set up.
Yeah.
Okay, you were saying about Smitty.
Anyway,
so he's having his sound.
So it took him time to figure out that, no, he is not Christian music's resident bad boy. He's Christian music's, like, billboard boy. You know, he's Amy Grant's little, like, what is it called? Aaron child. He's like Amy Grant's sidekick, right? Right.
Who kind of turned into his own thing.
Yeah. He turned... Thank you, Rich Mullins and Michael W. Smith, for putting
helping
your pants
Amy
on.
Grant.
Yeah. Yeah. They are owed her entire fame. She owes them so much.
I mean, they definitely helped her.
Yeah.
Of course, in the same flip, though, her popularity helped them. You know, they wouldn't be where they were. Yeah, I mean,
they wouldn't be where they were if, she didn't, bring them out, you know? Yeah. But, also, she wouldn't have as much hits as she has if they wouldn't have wrote them. Yeah. You know?
True.
So, I mean...
It's like an even take.
It's a give and take.
But back to Bethel. So, I'm not against modern music. I think there are still some bands that are making some very solid music. For King Country are making some solid music. Wren Collective, Colony House.
Right.
I like... These are all
Colony
modern.
House, yeah, man.
They are all still making some solid music.
Yeah.
What I do want is just a little bit of diversity. Like, this Bethel song sounds like it could have been written easily 10 years ago. I wouldn't even notice the difference. Right. It would not even occur to me that this song was written 10 years in the future. I was like, oh, okay. You know?
Right. I mean...
even in 2009, it honestly would have sounded a little bit dated, probably.
Right.
It just, I am all for anthematic worship songs, and this also brings up a problem I have with live worship music. I'm all for live worship music. I love going to church. Play your song for 15 minutes straight. You're in a church environment, it's different. You're feeling the Spirit of God.
When it's like coming to
when it's recorded
format, like when you're at recording format, it needs to be condensed. I mean, because like, I don't know, just like it takes up so much room. I mean, not just because it takes up so much room, but like, who is really going to be like, oh, I'm driving to church, or I'm driving 15 minutes down the road, and they're like, oh, I like this song, I can't wait until the next one comes on, but this is 11 minutes, which gives the next song, like, 2 minutes, before you get to where you're supposed to go, you know what I'm saying? Like, condense it. Get the same story, but also I don't think that in the album they would be, like, doing the bridges as much. I mean, like, they're kind of in a worship environment in the concert. And, I mean, that's kind of what they do as a worship band. They bring a worship environment to their concerts. Opposite to punk rock or anyone else who's like, oh, we're just going to bring the headbanging, Like, I mean, it is what you do,
I just feel like they need someone to produce the album that will be willing to say, okay, the song's been going for 5 minutes, let's fade it out. Right. It doesn't need to go for this long. And maybe I'm sure the radio version isn't 11 minutes long. I mean,
no, I don't think so. I mean, I don't know, but
I haven't listened to the radio version.
I would assume not.
So
seeing that,
but I don't necessarily like getting a live worship album, and I've listened to several throughout my life, and it just goes on and on and on, and you're like, I liked this song 3 minutes ago,
right?
But now it's getting old.
Right. I mean...
And I'm going to make an odd comparison here. It's the same problem I have with Elton John.
Oh, my God.
His songs are good for 2 minutes. But after that 2 minutes, he starts repeating himself over and over. And about the time Benny and the Jets go for round number 25, I'm just like, okay, Elton, moving on, buddy.
Yeah.
And... yeah, so that's
it's like Benny's got a jet, bro. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Yes, I'm awake and I speak English. I know what you're saying.
So,
but I mean, like, also, like, the human attention span is only so long. Like, that's why that there's commercial breaks. Is because, like, have you ever sat through a movie and, like, you couldn't focus on the entire movie? Like, it's like a 2 or 3 hour long movie, like Star Wars for me. Like, I could not focus on Star Wars. But, like, when you're watching, like, TV shows, there's, like, pauses, and you can get up and you can go get a drink. You can be like, oh, I don't have to focus on this for a minute. And you come back and you're like, oh, okay, here it is. But in music, it's like you sit there and it's like the words go numb, It's like, yes.
And I don't
it got to the point for them where they were raising the hallelujah so much, I don't think they could have even reached the hallelujah at that point. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, it's like, okay, like, you're going to kill the hallelujah because it's, like, already in the ceiling and you just keep pressing against it.
And not that there's anything wrong with long music. There are some bands I think can pull off an 8-minute song live and still sound good, but make that song engaging.
we okay, let's take for instance Queen at Live Aid, who takes all their songs and kind of turns it into one big pile up, right?
Yeah.
What is that, like a 20 minute? And really, like, there was like one pause, like, and it was just for a second for them to figure out some technical difficulty they're having on stage, and even then he still made it very, like, entertaining. Like, he did it like that whole opera thing. But see, like, make it engaging. If you want to do a song that's going to take longer than 5 minutes, make it a melody. You know what I'm saying? Add some old hymns to it.
A medley.
Whatever.
Yeah.
Words.
But make it have multiple parts. Make it engaging. Don't just repeat.
Right, don't repeat. Like, don't say, like, I raise a hallelujah like 556,000 times. Do something else.
Yeah,
say something else. Like, not that it's not okay to raise a hallelujah, but after the first 12 times that you say that, we get it.
And, it's... Some music can repeat and be okay, but if you're going to repeat, have a purpose for repeating. Have it be part of the point of the song, For instance, and this is actually a relatively short song, but for instance, David Crowder Band's Forever and Ever Hallelujah. Yes, I will find a way to bring in the DCB song every time.
That's the thing, though, is it says forever and ever and ever and ever and ever.
That's the point of the song.
It's going on forever,
Yeah, like, that's what I'm saying, though. It incorporates itself into repetition.
It gets what it's saying. But, like Hallelujah is the highest praise, I get it. But, like, it's not the longest,
Or even take Digital Age, Hallelujah. They just do nothing but say hallelujah for
this is what they did.
5 minutes straight.
Right. Well, this is what they did that was so right about that song. Mm-hmm. Is the progression changed. The configuration of how they played it changed.
Yeah.
Starts off very, very moderate, very contemporary, just da-da. Mm-hmm. And then it goes, it just like builds. And then by the end of it, you've got the guitar solo. And then the drums just, I don't know, dude. There's something about Digital Age that nobody else will ever have.
But just on that first EP.
Right.
All right. Bethel, we love you. We hope... we hope
the best for you.
We hope that, either you guys get some songwriters in your band that really decide to take some risks.
Oh, also...
Or you hire some songwriters that are willing to try something different.
Yeah, we're songwriters for hire, by the way. You can contact us at brotherskingmedia@gmail.com. We have about 200 songs in the works, several of which are worship, and I think you would like them. Please contact us. And if anyone who is listening to this, like Mom or Mimi or one of our aunts, and you know somebody who knows somebody that knows somebody whose brother's cousin is like a worship or anything leader, singer in a band, just direct them our way. And I really need to make some money somehow, so help us out. Love you guys. Glad you're all family. Anyway.
If we ever have any other listeners, you are our family too. We love you.
Right, yes, you family too. But I'm saying I know that the 6 people that are listening are like our mom and our grandma and our great aunts. And maybe, mother-in-laws. Or just whatever. Anyway, so yeah, also Bethel, if you would like, just a suggestion, I see that, like, your guys' like, emblem is, like, that whole, like, deer thing. That I'm pretty sure is a mossy oak symbol, like what they use as their emblem. So I'm not sure if you guys, like, have some kind of deal worked out with mossy oak. But, like, I don't know. Just don't get in trouble for it. I got some other ideas, too, about what kind of emblems you can use. You can contact us at brotherskingmedia@gmail.com, where I will give you a fair price that might set me for life. Anyway, all right, moving on to the next subject.
Woo! All right, we are 23 minutes in, Solomon. Oh, boy.
Told you I was in a better mental state.
All right. Hey, let's talk about Relient K.
Okay.
I really like these guys.
Yeah, me too.
We recently watched a concert of theirs together. I only saw them live 2 years ago. About give or take. Or is it almost
a year and a half?
A year and a half ago, we saw them live.
It was October of 2017. I remember this because remember that time when we were in that place and ran into that guy.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Good times.
Good times. We got to meet Drew Shirley.
Yeah, I got a picture of it on my Instagram. You can find me at that guy with a guitar.
So, anyhow, Relient K. They're one of those bands that I have always had mixed feelings about.
Yeah.
I remember hearing Who I Am Hates Who I've Been.
Yeah, that feels like a mixed feeling.
Okay, personally, I love that song.
I do too.
I heard that song, and I friggin' loved it.
I cried the first time I heard it.
I did cry at one point after I heard it like 30 times.
Yeah, I didn't really cry. Okay.
I was sincerely like praying, and I was like, God, I do hate what I've been. I'm gonna do better, and it was a touching moment for me,
Yeah.
So
I'll make sure to DM Matt Hoops about that because he actually does answer. But anyway, so
so that song touched me in like a really, relevant way when I was, I would have been 15 at that time.
Oh.
And it sincerely
that would have made me like 2.
Yeah, so that song
No, we're only 8 years apart.
Yeah. So
that would have made me like 7-ish.
Yeah.
7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Yes! I did the math right. It was correct.
Woo,
yes.
You can math.
High five.
So that song touched me in a relevant way, but then in my head, Relient K just became that band that made weird pop culture references. And I listened to like Mood Rings, and I heard like The Best Thing, and I was always kind of like this band's really cool, but I never really dove in. Fast forward a few years, Forget and Not Slow Down came out. I hated it. I was like, they just wrote a breakup album. This is horrible. Fast forward another couple years, and that album is my all-time favorite album of all time. I friggin' love that album. It is so perfect in so many ways. And yeah, I know, right? And fast forward a few more years, and they just kept on falling on and off my radar. And I was always like, I like them, but I don't like them that much.
Right.
And
I mean, it depends. Like, it's like anyone. Like, the band, like, you like the person for who they were to you, and not so much for who they are now, because that just happened. Like, things happen, life happens, there's situations that call for change, and even though we don't like it for us, maybe it was what was best for them. And this is the thing, is we will always love Relient K for who they were to us. Not so much who they are now.
Well, that's the thing, though. I've decided I like them. They are officially in my top 25.
And this is what we call forgiveness. And so what happens is... I'm just joking.
But I've decided I like them. They are that good.
Good.
Matt Thiessen is one of the best lyricists out there, period. I would pit him against any lyricist in music, period. Not just Christian music.
Yes, he is a Christian, but like their music is more like on secular.
They're one of those we're Christians in a band, not a Christian band. Which we had this argument last podcast, so let's not open it up again. So yeah, Matt Thiessen, amazing lyricist. Matt Hoops is a very Class A guitar player. We was watching Relient K circa 1999 or so.
Yikes.
Matt Hoops was the only thing holding that band together.
Yes. Yes. I'm pretty sure he was like scared to death on stage that night when he realized, what have I done? He said, I just quit the band I was in. I'm not sure if this is true, but this is what I was reading from his eyes as a brother in arms.
As a guitar player. A fellow guitar player.
Yes, brother in arms. Yes, but what was going through his eyes that night was
1999.
I've given up everything that I knew and loved. Everything that's ever done me good. For Spaghetti Jones, dude. With long ramen noodle hair. And his 2 band freaks, mates. Who don't know how to perform. They don't have a stage presence. So I'm going to stand over here about 6 feet away from the rest of the band and make the money they promised me. Hopefully I'll actually get it. I'm not sure. This Matt Thiessen guy seems a little strange. He looks like the creepy pizza guy, Anyway, so, from that night on, I'm pretty sure that Matt Hoops has been the band dad and kept Matt Thiessen out of trouble. Legally. Morally. Relationships. And probably even church. And when it comes to producers, I'm pretty sure that he had to hold Matt Thiessen down to the chair so that he would not break anything. But I don't know. I mean, Matt Hoop seems pretty level-headed, and he just seems like the mature one, Probably Matt Thiessen. Yes, Matt Thiessen is probably the reason why he has no hair today.
I can see that. He's the one aged him.
Yeah, he's like, like Matt Thiessen's hair kept growing, but Matt Hoop's hair kept falling out.
Yeah.
Anyway, so yeah, I mean, little respect for the guy who seemed like he knew what he was doing, because he could have just quit that night. He could have been like, wow, no, I'd never want to do this again, and he didn't. So now they are one of the best bands in our book.
Yeah, and not only that, he stuck with it to the point where they're a duo now.
Right.
It's literally Matt and Matt. That's the band. And, whatever other guys they decide to hire. Though, in my head, there is a third invisible member of the band, Mark Lee Townsend. While he produced a good chunk of their albums, not all of them, but a good chunk.
He's been their rhythm guitarist for
a couple years now.
And
during their live performance, right. But he produced, he made their sound.
Which also, let's just be real. If it weren't for him being their producer, they probably would not have really went anywhere, because, as you saw, in that video, they were kind of just all over the place, didn't really have a production about them, They were just kind of like, oh, we just know how to play instruments, so we're going to stand here and make the crowd nervous and, annoy them a little bit and just, shred our guitars because that's what we think we can do. And if it wasn't for Mark Lee Townsend, who not only was a producer, but also he was a producer for, DC Talk, right?
He was a producer.
He produced them, didn't he?
I don't know if he helped produce
them. He's
them.
Executive producer, I'm pretty sure.
I will check the album.
But I know for sure he was definitely the sound of the band. He was their live guitar player. Right, but he was their studio musician too.
I mean, okay, if you compare Jesus Freak and they actually have very similar soundscapes.
Right.
They do. I can see that. I don't know if he produced it or not.
Right.
But I wouldn't be surprised if he had something to do with it.
Those were his early days, so obviously he may not have produced it per se, but executive producer. Or
maybe just engineered it or something.
Engineer, mastered, anything, first level producer. I'm sure he had something to do with it. If anything, no thanks to the producers and all thanks to the way he knew how to play. Because really, the sounds are pretty... if you listen to Supernatural or Jesus Freak, just the music, not really the singers or the lyrics or anything, but, just the sound of that music reminds me of some of Relient K stuff. Sahara.
Yeah, I can really hear Sahara in, Supernatural.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Da-da-da-dun.
Yeah.
Da-da-da-dun.
I can hear that.
Lying on his side was...
And that's a great lyric song.
On his right.
So, for no particular reason, I just wanted to say how much I like this band.
Right.
To this day, Forget Not Slow Down, still my favorite album. And it's a breakup album. And don't worry, I love my wife. I never want to break up with her ever. But I think breakup albums get a bad rep because it's not... Matt Thiessen said it best. While he was breaking up with his girlfriend, his fiancée at the time, he said it wasn't just about that. It was also they had a band manager that was kind of doing them wrong, and so that was a painful relationship.
Right.
they were leaving a record label at that point. So that was kind of painful for them as well.
Right.
You know, so there was a lot of relationships ending.
Right.
That wasn't just boy-girl relationship. And I think that feeling of separation and tearing yourself apart from something, even, you know, you can even take a breakup album and apply it to yourself of, you know, I've hurt people I didn't want to hurt. You know, or I'm trying to be a better person even though I made a lot of mistakes in the past, etc. They're actually quite universal. And maybe I'm just trying to justify why I love breakup songs so much and I'm a happily married person. But that album is amazing. And I also really like Air for Free as an album. It's super. It's a Matt Thiessen piano project in all but name. I mean, obviously, you know, Matt and Mark had a good hand in it. And I would argue that Matt and Mark are responsible for the Relient K sound. Matt Hoops and Mark Lee Townsend make the sound happen, while Thiessen is responsible for the Relient K lyrics.
Right.
Like, they that's why I say the three of them make the band. Because, honestly, if you just, like, listen to him play his piano, it's not very Relient K. It just sounds like Matt Thiessen doing a solo project.
It sounds like, yeah.
But then they add that Relient K sound in.
Right.
And, I guess I could just keep ranting. I don't know. How do you feel about this band, Solomon? I've just been bragging, you know.
Like, obviously, you know how I feel about this band. I love this band. This band is like, you know, it's like the meatballs to my marinara. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know how to explain it. But, like, if I was in a band, that's the band I'd be in. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. It's hard to explain. It's hard to express the way you feel about something you love so much.
It's also...
And when we left that concert that night, it hurt so bad.
I think it's also interesting the musical evolution they took. They started out as a very standard pop-punk band, power pop.
Right.
With super pop culture reference songs, you know, Hello McFly,
Hey,
K-Car.
McFly! Yeah.
And they evolved into this very, like... well, what could be argued they evolved into was Matt Thiessen's therapy project.
Yeah, pretty much.
But they evolved into a very, like, indie alternative rock sound.
Matt Thiessen's like...
I have some stuff I gotta get off my chest.
He's like, I got so much I gotta get off my chest. And I just think it's funny how, like, Deathbed is his closing song for, like, everything now. Because, like, I feel like he really feels like he's gonna die alone, you know?
Well, he's married now.
Oh, is he?
Yeah, he married. He's happy.
Okay.
That's why Air for Free was a relatively happy album, I think.
Yeah. Air for Free. Yeah, that's what he was writing about. His wife, he's like, if I sink to my deepest depths, will you be there for me? To hold my hand while I hold my breath.
Oh, that's just so precious.
Oh my god, I'm gonna cry! Oh boy.
So,
the emotions are flying.
So we have one band we just buried in the ground tonight, and another band
we're just resurrected.
We're just like giving, you know, hearts and candies.
Like
is there any happy medium?
In the presence of Bethel music. Oops. Sorry.
I mean, yeah, can Bethel hire Mark Lee Townsend to produce your next album?
There you go.
And Matt Thiessen to write some songs for you.
Amen.
And while you're at it, just have Matt Hoops play some guitar in there. Just
do it.
Yeah, just do it.
Just do it.
I mean, I don't see how this is a bad idea. Hey, Bethel, if you're out there.
Hey, yeah.
Hey, Bethel. Listening. You should do this thing.
Hey, you can contact us at brotherskingmedia@gmail.com. That's got nothing to do with Matt Hoops or Mark Lee Townsend, but...
I mean, if you want to invite us to the studio and we'll just like hang out and drink coffee with you all.
Yeah, and hey, we'll produce for you. Who knows what it might sound like? There is no telling.
Okay, that's funny because, and we have to explain our jokes, which makes it not funny. But that's funny because I walk in all the time to Solomon. I'm like, hey, Solomon, I need you to play a song that sounds like this. Da 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 da. And it needs to sound something like Trans-Siberian Orchestra and Queen Had a Baby. Can you do that? And Solomon will be like, sure, uh-huh. And then he'll play, his normal progression that he stole from Switchfoot. And I'm like, yes, that's exactly what I had in my head. And this is us producing a Bethel album.
Right. It's just like, we're like, okay, so this needs to sound like Metallica, alright? But then it ends up sounding like the Beatles, Which is okay. It's exactly where we want it. You aim high, and then that means if you aim high, you'll always land higher than where you're at.
So, what we need you to do is make it sound like Stryper is covering the Beatles.
Who is covering White Stripes.
Yes.
It's going to end up sounding just like
Michael W. Smith.
There you go. And if it doesn't sound like Michael W. Smith, you're doing it wrong. Yeah, we would be great producers. They would hate us. Like, they'd be so confused. They'd go home at night crying and saying, Mom, why did I join a band? Mom, why? And she'll be like, honey, I told you to get a real job. I told you Chick-fil-A was hiring.
Yes. I think they are hiring if you want to go work there, Solomon. I hear they have, really good pay.
Yeah, it starts at, $15 an hour.
Yeah, go work for Chick-fil-A.
I should go work for Chick-fil-A.
You should go work for Chick-fil-A.
I get free meal.
Dude, you can get me free chicken.
Maybe. We'll see what happens. I might have to do that under the table. That's definitely not unethical.
A Chick-fil-A way to do things.
No, but I won't have to work on Sundays.
Dude, go work for Chick-fil-A. Go work for
Chick-fil-A.
Get on, as soon as we're done with this podcast, you should go apply on their website, and we'll update whoever listens to our podcast next week.
Yeah.
Solomon got on at Chick-fil-A.
Yes, Chick-fil-A.
Everyone who listens to this podcast just wants to know about our personal life.
I wonder if they would sponsor our they could play our podcast at Chick-fil-A, and all we have to do is after each segment be like, eat more chicken.
I'm just imagining someone walking into Chick-fil-A and they're playing it over the loudspeakers, and all they hear is, hell is going to consume you! Fire! Someone just walks into Chick-fil-A and is like, what?
And it's like, we're just sitting there talking about how terrible worship music is, and then right after it, they turn on Chris Tomlin.
The orchestral version of Chris Tomlin.
What is it? Da 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 da.
Yeah.
It's like, oh. Good timing.
We have great ideas.
We have brilliant. See, this is why somebody needs to pick us up. Shoot, even if Aaron Sprinkle doesn't want to produce us, let us be his cocoa producers.
Cocoa producer will produce his cocoa for him.
Okay. We can produce his cocoa for him.
I would get Aaron Sprinkle's coffee. I would be like,
yeah, cocoa. Get it?
Here's your Coca-Cola, Mr. Sprinkle.
Oh, okay. Okay.
if Aaron
My
Sprinkle
joke was funny.
Yeah, it was. I'm saying if Aaron Sprinkle asked me to get Coca-Cola for him, I'd totally get it.
No, seriously, if he's just Coke. Oh, what kind? It's I don't know. You bring him an actual Coke, and he's like, I was talking about the kind you sniff. Well, that's not expected. I'm just saying, what if he's not really the guy we think he is? I don't know.
Solomon's mind goes to strange places, and I apologize. We in no way endorse drugs, particularly the illegal kind, on this podcast.
Come on, it's pixie dust, Sorry.
I'm just sniffing up snot. I'm not sniffing any substance.
Samuel, what have I told you? We just got done talking about this. We don't do it. Oh man, I'm sorry, guys. When you go longer than 24 hours without sleep, the brain goes different places.
It does. So Solomon, speaking of Relient K, which we were talking about at one point.
Oh yeah.
What's your favorite song, album? Anything?
I like.
Okay.
Yeah. So
A
my favorite song
off
the album is Sahara.
That's off of Forget Not Slow Down.
You're kidding me. You can't be serious because I was just listening to it and it was on there.
No, Sahara is not on. It's on Forget Not Slow.
But
Are you really questioning my music knowledge?
No, I'm not questioning you. I'm just saying. You said favorite song, favorite album. Okay,
two separate things.
I guess, yeah. Forget Not Slow Down. I guess would be my favorite album then because all those songs are on the same album.
So
Sahara,
did you?
What?
Did you listen to Forget Not Slow Down and think it was
Yes. Oops. I think I tapped and Forget Not Slow Down started playing. Okay?
That's
like
I
don't know how YouTube works. I've told you. I'm from the future, past. I'm from the future's past.
Okay, Katie Pride.
Oh, how dare you? I don't even know what that is.
She's Shadowcat. She travels from
Shadowcat.
The X-Men. The girl, X-Man woman who travels from the past to the future.
The only X-Man I know is Night Creeper.
Nightcrawler.
That guy.
Oh. Alright, changing topics. We are way over time, but at this point, until someone proves they actually listen to us, I just stopped caring. I do this because it's a lot of fun.
Me too.
It helps me work out my emotions. So,
see, joking is a coping mechanism. So, if you're dealing with something in life, joke. Make a joke out of it. Laugh at your situation.
Is it you coping with that belt buckle right there?
Yeah, isn't that the worst thing you've ever seen in your life? It's yikes. Yeah, that's a camo belt buckle with a frog green shirt, faded jeans, buzz haircut.
We're looking at a picture of Solomon, by the way. You can just visualize this.
Yes, visualize this.
Visualize the kid from A Christmas Story.
No.
Wearing faded jeans, a camo belt, and a frog green shirt. Not with frogs on it. It's just frog green.
Oh, the shirt is tucked in, by the way.
The kid from The Christmas Story.
And
though.
I'm a little thinner in the face than him. But I've also got these really ugly metal square glasses and a buzz cut. Which I was thinking about going back to. I'm thinking about buzzing it. I don't know. One of the guys in the band have to be cool and different. I've been thinking about just getting rid of it all,
Yeah. So we'll do a one last topic change just because, 3 segments is fun. For our third and final segment, our random topic, because our last one was supposed to be whatever happened to Relient K,
right.
But I forgot to say whatever happened to, and instead I just started saying how much I loved Relient K.
Yeah, whatever happened to Relient K. Actually, they're still alive and well. We just wanted to talk about them.
Yeah. Congratulations. We just told you the joke we forgot to tell.
Yeah. You're welcome. You're welcome.
What's an artist that's not Relient K? Because I feel like they actually did pretty good for themselves.
Okay.
Who deserved better?
House of Heroes.
Hey, you stole mine.
Oh, are you serious?
House of Heroes deserved so friggin' much better.
Hold on. This just means that we're in sync.
Yeah.
Okay? This means that this podcast is a #1 hit.
Okay, so House of Heroes, they were the other punk rockers from Ohio that weren't Relient K.
They're from Ohio?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Who were also produced by Mark Lee Townsend.
So
here's
the gist. Move to Ohio.
Maybe. You never hear of any bands from Indiana.
But you do hear of Jody Wells. Is it Jody Wells?
Jody Davis.
Jody Davis. And David Fry. And there's some other guys from Indiana who made it into decent-ish bands.
But they moved to bands. They weren't... You don't ever hear a band starting in Indiana.
Royal Taylor.
Yeah, but they broke up after 2 albums. Does that really count?
No. It's because they were from Indiana.
Yeah, pretty much. Only solo artists can make it from Indiana. Jeremy Camp, Torrance Wells,
Right.
Stephen Curtis Chapman.
Terrence
Wells.
No, it's Torrin.
Torrin Wells.
I'm sorry,
Torrance Wells.
Torrance. Oh, Terrence. No.
Torrin
Lauren
Wells.
with a T. Yeah.
All right.
Laurent? Yeah.
John McLaughlin.
Mm-hmm.
You know, all these solo artists can make it just fine from Indiana.
Right.
But, every band from Indiana either stays under the radar or just breaks up.
Right.
The only other Indiana band I can think of is the Elms.
Is that?
Someone who deserved better.
Exactly.
But back to House of Heroes. So House of Heroes, I feel like their problem they ran into, and they are a phenomenal band. They are in my top 10. They were in the shadow of Relient K their entire career, and they never got away from it.
Yeah.
I think that's what happened, because they were such similar bands, but honestly, Relient K, I love you.
See, I think they could have gotten so much bigger if, like, they would have gotten the same, like, I don't know, I just feel like at some point, I think it's like sports teams, you know? I think people are like, oh, it's these guys or these guys, you know? And usually, when it's on the home front, it's the bigger team, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And which unfortunately was, well, not unfortunately, because, you know, I mean, honestly, what can we really say? Like, because Relient K, they're pretty set, you know? They've got good music. Everything was good, you know.
And they had good sales.
Right, they had good
they
sales.
had like 3 gold albums.
But then if you look at House of Heroes, yes, they have good music, but what would have happened if they did get more attention? What would have happened? Would they have still been as good now, or would they be like Hawk Nelson, you know? And I don't know why, but I kind of get this feeling that they would have ended up kind of like Hawk Nelson.
Like a radio band?
Like a radio band that, like, takes worship music and tries to make it punk, but...
Oh, Hawk Nelson gave
doesn't
up the
work
punk
for
thing
him.
3 albums ago.
Like,
They're not even
I mean,
remotely
like,
punk.
you know, I'm saying, like, Drops in the Ocean, they tried. But it failed epically. It was like, oh, worship music. No. Yes, it was worship music.
So
I'm not saying that maybe it's a good thing. I'm just saying what if it was a better thing for them to not get such publicity, you know? Yes, do they deserve more people to know who they are? Yes. But do they really deserve to be a bigger band?
So Relient K, you just heard me gush over you for 20 minutes. House of Heroes is the much better band. Far superior.
I don't know, man.
Oh no, they are the far superior band. Okay, so here's my comparison, and people are gonna hate me for this, and come at me, fight me.
Yes, you can argue with us at brotherskingmedia@gmail.com.
Yes,
We're
of Heroes.
YouTube at Brothers King Media.
House of Heroes is the Beatles to Relient K's Rolling Stones. And what I mean by that is Relient K were good, and they had some killer songwriters and their lead guitar player and their lead singer. But the Beatles, much like House of Heroes, had 3 really good songwriters.
Mm-hmm. Okay, I can. Okay,
and
I see where you're
3
going.
amazing vocalists.
Okay, so what you're saying is because they're a mix between Relient K and Jars of Clay, they should have been better.
I don't want to get crude.
I'm not being crude. I'm saying what you're saying essentially is that they are the spawn of Jars of Clay and Relient K because they have all the
who was grandfathered by the Beatles.
Okay.
Like that's the 3 of those bands mixed together.
I mean,
is
see,
House of Heroes.
when I think of House of Heroes, and Relient K, if I could, I would say that, not Flood, but, Work would be the song that they wrote if Jars of Clay didn't exist.
Okay, I can see that. I can see that a lot, actually.
Because it's got the whole...
I mean, it would be slightly different.
You know, it's like that whole thing.
But yeah, that's why I think House of Heroes is the better band. And plus, Relient K, much like the Stones, they have a bigger body of work, but not all their albums are perfect, right?
Right. I mean, I could definitely
Whereas
see...
House of Heroes...
where you get Mick Jagger out of Matt Thiessen.
Mm-hmm.
He is a little bit freaky.
Whereas House of Heroes, they have a much smaller discography. They only have 6 albums.
Yeah.
Let me think. Like 5.5 albums, right?
Right.
They have 5.5 albums, but every last one of those albums are so stinking solid.
Right.
And that's the thing. Like, and that's why I always had problems loving Relient K as much as I decided I do. Because their albums, I would be like, okay, they have 2 perfect albums out of 8. That's kind of rough, you know?
Yeah.
It's the same problem. It took me a while to admit my love for the Newsboys. Because I'm like, the Newsboys have 1.5 perfect albums out of 30. You know?
Right.
So, but House of Heroes, man, they got it all. They deserve so much better. Like, so friggin' much better. And, yeah. I provoke you to listen to The End Is Not the End, or Cold Hard Want, really just any of their friggin' albums, particularly those 2 albums though, and tell me they're not better than Relient K. Like, musically, vocally, if not personality-wise, they are... The only difference between them and Relient K, as other things I said, is Relient K have the bigger personality. Matt Thiessen, much like Mick Jagger, is a killer frontman.
Right.
He has the personality to draw in that crowd.
Right.
Whereas, you know, House of Heroes is splitting that frontman between 3 different people.
Right. But see, I think, I don't know. It's when it comes down to it, when it comes down to the nitty gritty, what would you prefer? I mean, yes, good vocalization is nice, but what if you could have pretty good vocalization that doesn't, like, really, like, okay, because you've got Relient K who does, you know, they harmonize. They do the Beach Boys thing. Pretty good, right? Even though, like, if one of them was singing by themselves, it might not sound great, but all together it sounds good. Where you, with, what is
House
that
of
name?
Heroes.
House of Heroes. Yeah, sorry, we got so many different band names going on. With House of Heroes over here, you've got 3 really good singers, right? Like they could solo on their own by themselves. Any of them could be the lead singer for the band.
Any of them could be the lead songwriter. Any of them could be a band in themselves.
This is the thing that I'm saying. Would you prefer to have something like the Beach Boys with great performance? Because, like, come on, I don't see anybody else doing headstands on their piano while playing like Matt Thiessen does.
Yeah.
Like, that, like, catches attention. I don't know, like, there's just something about that. Like, you got the whole Freddie Mercury thing. You know, he just swings around, he flaunts. He doesn't, like, I watched the Bohemian Rhapsody movie, and then they had, like, the special scenes in the back, and Brian May and what's his name? Roger Taylor, their drummer. They're sitting there talking, and the lady who's giving them the interview was like, "Okay, so, like, where did he learn to dance?" Or, you know, because there was a ballet group that wanted to do one of his songs, but also wanted him to do the choreography with them, and they were like, he didn't know how to dance. In fact, they wanted him to do it so bad when he said, "No, I can't dance." They said, "Oh, don't worry about dancing. We'll just carry you and we'll dance," you know? And that was what happened the whole show. So, like, he didn't take classes to dance. He didn't do anything. He just did what he felt like doing. He just, serve spaghetti, like.
So you're saying you prefer the big personalities as opposed to
I do
the finer
honestly,
craft.
I honestly do. I prefer personality. Now, when it comes to production, I think Relient K had it good in the studio. They could produce, like, when I say produce, they could produce what they're doing. They can create what they're doing. They did it right. But when it's out on stage and it's like, it doesn't really matter if it's perfect to the T, as long as we get the crowd involved and, they have a good time, it's all good. They just came here to see us perform. They didn't, because when we went to see Switchfoot in Relient K, we weren't like, I hope they do it just like the album. Because, when I go to concerts, that's the only concert I've been to, but, when I think about going to concerts, I don't want them to do the song exactly how they do it. If you listen to the produced version of Don't Stop Believing, it just, kind of keeps going and then gets faded out, right? Mm-hmm. But when you listen to the Live in Houston video, they have, this whole, real, cool ending. And it's just, that's what I like to see. I'd rather see and hear that than, have to listen to that and it fade out. It's just annoying. They should have done that on the production. But what I guess what I'm really just getting at is I don't care what they sound like live. I don't really, they know what they're doing, right? But, I like to watch them do it, perform,
So, going back to, your 3 paragraphs ago, it really comes down to big personalities versus perfection of the craft.
Right.
You prefer the bigger personality. I prefer perfection of the craft.
Right. Well, see, you'd probably prefer looking at the Mona Lisa over looking at just a random blob of paint on cardboard.
Not so, if that blob of paint is well done.
See, I like looking at abstract art, which can be anything. You can take a Mona Lisa and turn it into an abstract art. You can, you could take a bunch of different colored paint and put it in. See, it just looks, it's the way you look at the art. If somebody takes a bunch of different colors and throws them onto a white canvas, I might see a Mona Lisa in it, right? But you might just see paint.
No, I see beauty.
I'm just saying...
It's just a matter of preference, though. What do you prefer?
And, that's my preference. I prefer abstract art, whereas you prefer perfection. You prefer the, smoothed out skill. You like how it can be perfected to the T. And there's nothing wrong with that.
And I don't necessarily even prefer that live. Live, I'm like you, I like messy live. Mess up live, please. That means you're actually playing your guitar.
Right.
Hit a sour note. Right. That makes me happy. I had the opportunity to see House of Heroes live this past year. And when their first few songs hit, their soundboard guy had screwed up their sound somehow. And they sounded bad. You could tell the vocals were all off. They essentially turned up their gain too much. So all the guitar and vocals were bouncing back and forth between the 2 speakers. And you can imagine how it kind of sounds like they were singing underwater a little bit. But it was one of my favorite live shows ever. Sincerely, I loved them live. It was so amazing.
Right.
So, all that to say, I think Relient K got bigger because they had the bigger personalities.
Right.
They had the personality to pull off the bigger.
When it comes down to it, it does come down to personality. Just honestly, that's in anything.
Yeah.
I'm not in college yet. I'm about to start college, but I'm in psychology of business, And when it comes down to it, you get the job if you have the personality. If you don't seem like a person that can connect, it's just not going to happen for you. You have 70% greater chance of being successful in the business that you're wanting to start if you have the personality to make people like you. But if you don't, you don't.
Yeah, to kind of give an example, and we're steering off topic, but I don't care. Take DC Talk, for instance. Out of the 3 of them, on stage, Tate and Max had way more personality. But as far as when it came to connecting to people, Toby Mac, that was his gig. And that's why, honestly, he took off and they didn't. Because he had the personality to one-on-one connect with the fans. He had the personality to, connect with his musicians and make his posse work. And also, honestly, he probably had the business connections, too.
Right.
But, it was really his personality
that
took him off, and the other two, they caught up eventually, but it took them a little while to get where Toby Mac always
if you think about it, thanks to Toby Mac, we have some of our newer, not so worshipy contemporary music.
Yeah.
What's her name? Jamie Grace. She's not such worshipy, Britt Nicole, he had something to do with that. I'm not saying that he takes full credit for it, but he did help her out in the very beginning.
Yeah, and really his own music, you take stuff like Me Without You, which is a modern pop song.
Mm-hmm.
It's honestly pretty. Even that newest song of his, which kind of annoys me, it's still honestly kind of better than most stuff. It's I Got to Thank You, or oh snap! Please hold while I look this song up. We need some hold music, Solomon. Please do not sue us, Nintendo. Oh man, I gotta look this song up now.
What else am I supposed to sing when all I see around here is nerdy stuff?
Yeah, I know, right?
Teenage
I Just Need You. That's what the song's called.
I just need you.
And so I heard this song. The first time I heard it, I said, "This sounds like someone trying to do a Toby Mac impression."
It sounds like Toby Mac trying to impersonate himself.
It did. But then, to its credit, it's still it's better than most pop music I heard here.
Right, right. It's better than most stuff out there.
So
nowadays.
You're right. He his personality though is what carried that.
Right.
So personality can get you a long way. It can get you further than perfection.
Right.
But back to the matter of the gravy, House of Heroes deserves to be so much better known because they are perfection. They just have it down, and if nothing else, they should be the band. They should be the modern day Starflyer 59. And what I might mean by that is Starflyer 59 is that Christian band that no one listened to except for 200 people. But all 200 of those people either started a band or started a record label or, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
House of Heroes should be like that. They should be that group that not everyone listened to, but those that did listen to them count them as a major influence. If I ever gain any level of popularity, I'll always say, yeah, these guys are in my top 10. They influenced me right under David Crowder Band, Stephen Curtis Chapman, Jars of Clay, right?
Right.
So, there you go. Okay. Woo! We've talked a long time, Solomon.
And that is the conclusion for today's show. This has been Brothers King Media.
Keep being that glimpse of eternity.